Why is so difficult to find English-speaking workers in Venezuela? Today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
It's been a while that I haven't done a video regarding HR, human capital, recruiting, and so on in Venezuela, but it's one of the most requested intel that I get a lot for my clients and also some viewers of this channel and my platform overall. And today I want to discuss why it's so difficult to find English-speaking Venezuelans. There is a lot of reasons, but most of them are regarding towards incentives. The average Venezuelan actually don't have the incentives in order to speak proper English compared to, let's say, other countries in Latin America like Mexico or Colombia, that, for instance, in Mexico, you see a lot of presence of multinational companies, especially from the United States. Of course, they're close to the United States. Also, they have the NAFTA trade agreement, and you see a bunch of US multinationals. So in Mexico, you are very motivated in order to speak English, because that can lead in order to either get a good job, most likely, or you most likely are going to get a better job if you live in Mexico, especially if you're a young Mexican. And also you can do business with US American clients and also European clients, but mostly from the United States and Canada as well. That is included on the NAFTA agreement. On a lesser degree, on the rest of Latin America, you have a handful of multinationals over there. And for instance, there is a cliché that was reading on Twitter on Colombia, if you're a young Colombian and you graduated from college and you speak English, your destiny is going to be working on a call center. That is a sad fact, but still, speaking proper English is going to increase your chances to get ahead in life over there in Colombia. I know the situation in Colombia is not as well as it should be, but still, you have a better shot if you speak English. Now, in Venezuela, it's not quite the case. Because what happened is, since, the country basically was shut down for 10 years, something like that, especially for Western companies and countries and so on, and it was open only for, let's say, Chinese companies and Iranian companies and a handful of Latin American countries and so on. And for instance, in the case of the Chinese, they hire only Chinese people, and the few times when they hire Venezuelans actually are bad paid, so the Venezuelans are not incentivized towards learning neither English and worst case scenario Chinese Mandarin, and most people don't want to work with Chinese. Again, I'm talking the young employees here in Venezuela. The talent pool doesn't want to work with Chinese people. And same thing with these other nationalities, because they don't pay well. And there is just a huge lack of opportunities for Venezuelans, especially for young Venezuelans. So speaking English, just of a matter of getting ahead on the Venezuelan working market, on the job market, it's not going to get you as far as on many places all over the world, especially other parts in Latin America. So they are not incentivized to speak good English, and that's one of the reasons that they just don't do it. Other reason that I have to discuss, of course, the migration that we had of Venezuelans, over 7 million people on the last 10 years. So it's like over 20% of the Venezuelan people. And on that handful of people, you have a bunch of people that actually speak English. So they are motivated to, instead of staying in Venezuela, they are more motivated to migrate into the United States or Canada or the UK or other more developed nation in Latin America, like Mexico or Panama or Argentina or Chile, stuff like that, where you can actually make something about your English speaking proficiency. So instead, you go towards them and you're going to have better opportunities in life. The other thing that I have to mention is that the people who stay in Venezuela and speak a decent English, and I don't know if you can say my English is decent or not, well, I'm going to try with my decent English speaking level, and they became freelancers like myself. So they don't need a wage. They can just freelance their skills, let's say on IT or graphic designing or internet marketing, digital marketing. I'm sorry, that's the quote, and many other skills that you can do online. So they work for themselves most cases. So that's why we don't have that much remote workers in Venezuela. We have remote freelancers instead, and they prefer to work by themselves. So that's why you see unlike other places on the world, for instance, like India or Pakistan and the Philippines, that you have a huge talent pool and you have a very good English speaking base on those talent pools, but they are workers. They usually are not freelancers. And in the times that where they are freelancers are not coveted freelancers. In most cases, please don't get offended by me with my words. It's just the trend that I'm seeing. And well, talking is about Venezuela. So in most cases, it's going to be very hard to find a remote worker, because other thing that I have to mention is that people, in not all cases, but most cases, people from abroad, especially from Western nations, want to take into advantage the situation of Venezuela, and they think that Venezuela is very poor. The Venezuelans have been very impoverished. However, someone that can speak English, they don't need a job of, let's say, $100 per month, because they can get a $200 per month job wage here in Venezuela without even knowing English, let alone if they speak good English and also they have a skill like graphic designing or video marketing or video editing. Imagine someone who works on IT. So if you offer a very low wage, like you do with these freelancers from India, Pakistan, and the Philippines, and so on, they're not going to take it, because Venezuelans are not going to be, they don't like to be badly paid or poorly paid. You're going to raise the bar, and most people that are actually looking talent here, a talent pool here, and they are offering very low wages. Most Venezuelans, especially the ones who speak English and have other marketable skills, they are not going to take it. Also, I have to mention that the job market in Venezuela, the opportunities are very scarce. However, the people who do speak English and also they are college graduates, let's say on STEM degrees, we still have multinationals here. So usually they pay good salaries for Venezuelan standards, and they are good on their jobs, and also they built a career with a lot of experience and so on and so on. And so in many cases they speak good English, and they're gonna go to these companies, these multinational companies, and get salaries between $1,000 and $2,000 per month. That doesn't sound that much if you live in the States, for instance, but in Venezuela it's actually a great salary, and just a handful of people have those salaries. It's hard to get them, but usually the companies here, for instance, we have Chevron, the big multinational, and also we have the big four firms, Deloitte and PricewaterhouseCoopers and so on. So if you're good on accounting and related specialties and also speak good English, you can make a career over there. So the Venezuelans prefer working for those companies instead of getting these low wages of $100 to $200 per month that 99% of Venezuelans that are able to actually take the job and have the skills, they are going to say no to that low proposal. And lastly, I have to mention that the people that are able to speak very good English here in Venezuela, also a handful of them, most of them actually come from high middle class families. They are not rich or anything, but they got access to good education back on the day. So they most likely already migrated, but if they decided to stay here, they have a small business or something of that nature, so they are not going to take low wages. So if you're, let's say, trying to scout talent of a Venezuelan and pay him a wage of just a few $100s per month, they're not going to take it because it's little money for them. They are accustomed to making more money, and they're going to do it either being self-employed or having their own small business here. So they're not rich, they're not wealthy or anything like that, but they have the sufficient, let's say, wealth in order to start a small business here. Let's say they sell car parts. You have a bunch of those in Venezuela. Can be actually profitable if you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing on that particular field, so don't ask me about. Or you sell car lubricants, or you sell meat, or you have a convenience store or something like that, or you sell fruits and vegetables, stuff like that. So and some people actually are good English speaking people on that line of work, but if you offer them just a small salary, they're not gonna take it as well.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again and have a nice day.